Back. We are about 20 minutes before the top of the hour, actually 10 minutes before the top of the hour. I'm reading an analog clock here. We are joined now by Karin Howard, a lawyer and the former River Ward councillor for the area that encompassed Mooney's Bay. Karin, you're one of the vocal opponents really having a problem with the lack of process in the selection of this site at Mooney's Bay. You heard what the mayor had to say. What do you say to what you heard?
Well, first of all, congratulations on your show. I'm totally thrilled for you.
Oh,
big picture, the mayor's main complaint is that there's been misinformation, and then he talks about how happy we're going to be once we get this park. He's missing the point. Number one, it's the process. He didn't consult. Someone went and picked the best park because the producer liked the view, and that's not acceptable. I mean, the community's in uproar because, and this is the people who know what's going on, because of the process. So, and then to his point,
so go ahead,
to his point about misinformation, I'd like to address what he says. First of all, he says, I have a 72-acre park. Only 1 acre is being used for this play structure. I have to say, I measured it on a map yesterday, and I took it for granted the city was telling me the truth. It's 72 acres, but a whole bunch of them are taken up by the Terry Fox Athletic Center, the 2 parking lots, and the hill, and the beach. So when you actually look at what flat grass space is there, this 1 acre with the ridge around the edge along the river, this 1 acre is going to be 1/5 of the available flat grassland where people go and picnic and play soccer and stuff. Then he says that the grandchild of the woman, someone told him, this is like second-hand information, someone told him that the grandchild actually wanted to see the play structure.
Mm-hmm.
I was with that grandchild. Nothing of the sort was said. Then he says people are talking about 80 trees. The city says there's 12 trees. I counted 50 trees myself. Is this
the misinformation you're talking about?
Well, I've never talked about misinformation. I've talked about lack of process and lack of information. But, you know, when I link this kind of decision to the past and other decisions the city has made, I'm beginning to think there is a pattern of lack of consultation on the very biggest decisions, including where is the hospital going, what happened at Lansdowne Park, what's going on? There's NCC city land discussions going on now? I want to know what's going on at the city now because this was so badly handled. Anyway, he talks about let kids be kids. They can be kids right on just plain old grass. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Karin, we discussed the matter of the possibility that the area is toxic, and this talk of a membrane, the plastic membrane that's going down over the site, and he said it's just containing some of the toxins and building up that site, so it's a much nicer site. Did you buy that argument?
Well, actually, the condition that's there now is going to be cleaned up for the most part. You heard that from a very casual city staff, an incredible man who was there this morning. I didn't hear that from the city directly, but so they're going to clean up the contamination that's there. I don't know if all of it will be gone, but the membrane is supposed to prevent the flooding up of water because that is a floodplain. And the mayor said they didn't choose Andrew Hayden Park because most of that was in the floodplain. So I'm beginning to feel like we would really like to see the rationale for why it was chosen, other than the giver and the TVO people, programming people, and the producer saying, wow, this stole my heart. Tell me that's not how land use decisions get made in the city.
Well, do you think you're going to get those answers? I mean, there's a meeting tomorrow night, but, you know, we saw today that the trucks have already gone in, the play structure, the Sue Holloway Fitness Center is already starting to come down, the trees are already down. So are you going to get answers?
Well, this is damage control. This is trying to appease people. You know what they've done? This is like, it's the worst PR type of exercise you can, claiming that the community association is supporting this. The president is my neighbor, and it's very awkward for him because they haven't actually had a meeting on this. They haven't been briefed, and they haven't had a meeting, and they haven't had a vote.
So are you saying that this is inaccurate?
Well,
you're being sold a bill of goods that isn't exactly...
misleading. The facts they put in that the mayor wrote in a leaked memo that went to city councilors essentially made it sound like everyone is happy with this and they're willing to work. And of course, there was one person who's willing to be the community coordinator for this project. Who knows what that means? The man or woman happens to sit on the RPCRA, the Community Association, but that doesn't mean the Community Association has taken a position on it. It's just totally inaccurate.
Can I ask you what you think is going on?
Well, I think if they could have quickly put together a report and brought it back to committee, they would have. And I think there are details about this that will never come to light because there never will be a report. After this is just done, there never will be a report that's available. And some of this stuff has just been agreed to. And tell me if you actually believe that there was a staff person who got to pick this park. You think really they give that kind of discretion on a huge park to a staff person? No, no way. No way. People knew all the way along and they've had input, but it's only a few people and not the public. That's not how we do business at the city. I'm brokenhearted because I care about process and I thought this was an accountable, open government, but I'm seeing too many examples where the process is flawed.
Mayor Watson says that at the end of the day, when we have this playground in, everyone's going to wonder, what was the big kerfuffle about? So I guess they're feeling that however way the project came about, it was for the greater good. So we should be happy with that? Are you happy with that?
You know I'm not. I think unless you expose the pros and cons, know what the costs are, who's paying for what, who's benefiting, why the heck are we spending $1 million on this? And does that include all the construction work? We don't know any of these answers. What's it going to cost to maintain it? No. Am I going to be, the mayor said we're going to be ecstatic when we see it. No, I'm going to be devastated that this is going to be a permanent monument to poor process. It's going to be in a gorgeous park, sadly.
I talked to the mayor. I asked him about the possibility of a court injunction. He seems to think that you'll just be incurring a lot of costs for no reason.
Do you know what? When I heard that, he said, yeah, it's too bad because when communities go to court and they lose, they incur costs. Man, if you tell that to someone like me, that either is that a threat or is that a challenge? I'm the kind of person that takes that as a challenge. Like, he can't predict the outcome. The injunction hasn't even been filed yet. So, you know, if I win or we win and the city loses, the city may have to pay costs too. And that might be embarrassing. I know they've got deep pockets, but it may be embarrassing to the reputation of the city.
Is this a NIMBY question? Is it an issue for you? It's not in my backyard?
Not at all. No, I had it's a 10-minute drive for me and a 30-minute walk. There is no backyard. I know this because I'm familiar with the area. There is no backyard within a 5-minute walk, at least, or 10-minute walk. It's nobody's backyard. This is a jewel for the entire city.
And it's worth fighting over?
Well, you know what? My kids have grown and left home. I'm thinking of hundreds and hundreds of people who are in that park, people who bike through, who picnic, who don't have internet, who don't even know this is happening, the people who don't have the ability to barbecue on their balconies. They don't have backyards, and this is where their little kids go to play. So, and they've just lost 1/5 of the space that they had a week ago.
Karin Howard, I appreciate you talking to me today, and we'll be checking back with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the opportunity.
That was Ottawa lawyer and former River Councillor Ward Councillor Karin Howard. We're going to take a short break. We got the newscast, and we'll come back